In this video, we're going to go over the basics of setting up a Maya projects file. Maya projects files are very important for Maya because Maya has a certain directory structure and it has to set up all its files in certain places. And when you save out a file, it's going to save to certain directories. And then when you render an image, it's going to go to a certain directory. And when you do a texture map, it's going to go look for a directory to find that image. A lot of this stuff will make more sense to you later on as you work with the program. But right now, this is essential to setting up a project properly. We can just save out a file directly in any directory, but we really need the projects set up correctly for future use. So to access the Maya projects directory, what we do and set them up is we go over to the file pull-down menu, right over here, and we go down all the way down here to where it says project. And then you click on this button here, and it says project window. Now this button is very important because this is where you're going to set up all your projects. You're not going to do anything in here. You're not going to drop any files in here. This is not a browser. This is not a window. This is just a visual interface dialog box so we can see where things are. And what it's doing is it's telling us this is your current project, and by default it's called new project. And then it gives you a location where you want to send that file. So I'm going to step through the procedure to get this all set up correctly. And I'm going to also explain a couple things about some directories and where data is going. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the first thing you must do is after you've pressed the button for the project window is you have to go to current project and go all the way over here to the right to go to new. Okay, so now these dialog boxes are open. You can actually do stuff in them. I'm going to save directly to, just use the default name here for new project. I'm not going to change it at all. But later on, when you have your own specific project, this is where you would change it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the location of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button here, and a dialog box pops up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how all these files and structures work. So it's going to ask me to go find a directory where I want to put this. So my suggestion for class is wherever you work in your class, or wherever you work on your computer, wherever you're putting your work on your computer. Traditionally, what I have done over the years and worked at many studios and workshops is I will create a directory called projects, and I will put all my projects within that directory. And then when I go to other studios where I've worked before or working again, a lot of times when I come in, I'll actually see, the project directory structures that I've already set up. So I suggest that for you. And what I did was I have a Windows computer, so I'm going to be showing you through Windows, but in Apple, just kind of do the parallel same thing because a lot of the dialog boxes in Windows are the same. So I'm going to go to my computer over here. You have a little folder area where you can kind of pick on things where you can access stuff. And I'm going to go to, you can click on these if you want to list by name or type or date. So I'm going to go directly, I'm going to do this really clean. I'm going to put this right in my C directory or my C drive. Okay. And as you see down here, I have created a folder here called projects. Okay. So this is what I suggest. In your root directory or wherever you're saving data, create a directory called projects. Okay. That's just a good idea. All right, so within projects, that's the directory I'm gonna save this in. We could put a subdirectory in this because if you have other projects, you could call this class, or 3D class, or whatever you like for a name. And then within that directory, you can then save your projects so they don't conflict with other classes you have or other projects you're working on. So this is just a suggestion I have. Let me pull open a directory as well and see. Yes, here we go. All right, so here is a regular Windows file window, and you can see the different files, and there's nothing in there, so that's the same thing. These two things correspond. Okay, so if I put these side by side, you see that says C projects and this says C projects. Okay, so just kind of let this sink in, and I'm gonna scoot this window over on the side right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this. So I'm going to pick on, I'm going to go up. You actually have to go up. So you have to be above the directory you want to pick on because you have to be able to pick the file folder, okay? So now I'm going to pick on that. So you see I've picked on that. And now if you go down to directory, if you look down here, it says projects. Okay, so then I hit select. Okay, so now when you go back to this window, you'll see it says new project, which is the default name that we set up, or Maya sets up, and I just left. And then it tells you exactly, it says location, it says C projects. Now take a look at these. These are different file names or folder names that are going to come into Maya, and you'll see these in a second. These are where certain kinds of data are going to go in Maya. In Maya, all your scene files, all your geometry files are always going to go in scenes, because basically Maya is creating a scene. So you're putting your geometry in, you have your lights, you have your cameras and things like that. So it's basically like a scene, kind of like an animation scene. There's some other directories. We're not going to deal with all these directories through the semester, and don't worry about these right now. You'll learn them as we go. Images is another directory, which you'll see a lot of, because when you create images in Maya, they'll end up in this directory. Okay, and then sources images will be important as well, because when you're bringing things into Maya, like when you're 3D painting or you're texture mapping or you're coloring objects, you're going to have, you'll put that data in here. Okay, so the key thing is just when you come into this window, you started over here in file, you did the project window, you went over here to current project and you hit new, and then you clicked on this file folder. You went and found your file directory where you want to put information. So I'm putting it in C projects. And then the last step is to go over here and go to accept. Okay, so now your scene looks the same. I'm going to pull over the directory window again. So now if you look at that same directory window that I had up before, see it says Windows C directory projects, but now it has this new file folder in there. That's new. So Maya just created that. Maya just put that in there. So now I'm going to double click in here, and now you're going to see here are all those file directories that I was just showing you in Maya. So now they've all been put in here. And now we're going to go to this directory called scenes. Now there's nothing in here. Don't worry if you find a little folder in each window. Don't touch those. Those are just where little scripts or little things Maya is doing. It has stuff in there. So if you ever open up any file folder and you see anything in there, just leave it. Okay. All right. So scenes. Here we go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this window over, and I'm going to go back to Maya. Okay. And I'm going to create just a little cube. Okay. So now I've created a cube there. I'm going to hit Shift F, so it zooms up in each window when it's framing. Okay, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to File, Save Scene As, pull up my dialog box here, and if you notice now, it's gone to C Projects, New Project Scenes. Okay, so now it's pointing to this directory. It's automatically pointing to this directory. So I'm going to just type in a name here. I'm going to type in cube _01. Okay, and you can set a file type. Maya's default file type is Maya binary. I sometimes use Maya ASCII, which I'll explain more about later. But this ASCII just lets you, it gives you a wider ability to use files in different versions of Maya, because over the years Maya changes. Sometimes this is a useful format, but right now we're just going to do Maya binary. That's the default, and you should go ahead and do that. It's a little smaller size file too. And I'm going to go to Save As. Okay, so now you see there's a file in there. It says cube _01.mb. That's the file extension for a Maya binary format file. Okay, so that's how the basics work here. Okay, now if you quit out of Maya, or you were working on a different project, you create another project, what you would do is whenever you start Maya, the best thing, and this is just good to do no matter what, is after you've created some projects, after we've quit this version of Maya, this session of Maya, when you start it up again, what you should do is always go down here to project. Don't do project window unless you're making a new one, but go to set project. Set project will reset Maya to go to the right directory. Okay, so then you would hit this, you would hit set project, and here it goes. So when that happens, then you see that says new project there, then you would click on this. Okay, it's already set, but I will hit set anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another project. So let me go to File, New Scene. Switch over here, change my windows so I can see something. All right. So here we go. So I'm going to make another one of these. I'm going to go down to Project Window. Okay. And I'm going to go to New. And if I just kept the default, right? If I just here, I'll show you the file directories again. Here we are again. So I have to get out of this directory because it's going default. So I want to go in one directory. I want to actually go 2 directories up. So if you go to this little blue button, this will let you kind of move around in your file browsers, okay? All right. So now I'm all the way up at my C drive, and then I got to hit projects, okay? I'm going to hit select. Okay. So now I'm going to call this one new project _02. Okay. So I'm in the right directory I need to be, and just follow along these and watch this video again if you get confused. This is a little confusing at first, and I'm going to hit accept. Okay. So now if I went to, before I do anything, I'll just check it. So if I went to save scene as, you would see, oh wait, see, look. Yeah, no, it did set. It set me. Sometimes it doesn't set you automatically, but it did. If you notice, I'm in a different directory now. I'm not in new project anymore. I'm in new project _02. Okay, so I'm going to cancel out of that. I'm going to save something in this new project 02. Okay, so I'm going to create a sphere. Okay, there's a sphere, and I'm going to go to File, Save Scene As, and I'm going to name it Sphere _01. Okay, and have it my binary. I'm going to go Save As. Okay. So now, okay, I'm going to pull back my, let me deselect this. I'm going to pull back my Windows, my window directory here. So now I'm in new project. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way up. Okay, so I'm going to be in project. So here we go. Now you can see there's new project and new project 02. So if I went in here to new project, if I just went into directories, I would see in scenes, I would see my cube. Okay, so now if I go back up all the way, and if I go into new project 02 and I go down to scenes, and I will find sphere _01 in there. So that's in a whole separate directory there. Okay, so now, okay, let me show you what's going to happen now. I'm going to put this aside. Okay, so say I wanted to open my cube again. So, okay, so I go to File, Open Scene, and I don't see it. I see sphere here. Okay. I could go all the way back up and find it, but then my directory structures aren't going to be correct because the other project is a different project. Okay. So I'm going to hit cancel. Okay. And I'm going to go to File, New Scene. So I'm going to clear the scene here. I'm going to go to File, Set Project. Okay. And I'm going to click on, right now I'm in new project 02. I'm going to click on the original new project. Okay. So I'm going to hit set. Okay. This is if I came in, this is the next day, I'll come back to work. I'm working on my file again, my project. Now I'm going to go to File, Open Scene. And what do I see? I don't see a sphere. I see cube. Okay. There we go. There's my cube. Okay. So now I want to open my sphere again, right? So now what do I do? So first thing is I'm going to go to File, New Scene, because I have a whole different project now. I've been working on my project today, or my boss is in, my art director's there, and they say, hey, where's project 2? I say, oh, let me go get it. So, but if I go to Open Scene, right? And my boss is waiting to see it, and I'm like, oh, I got cube 01. Okay, where I gotta go find my other project. Okay, what I need to do is I need to reset my project. Okay, so then you would go into File, Set Project, and you would pick on New Project 02. Okay, I'm going to go Set. Okay, so now magically when I go over here and I go to Open Scene, okay, it says Sphere _01. So now I have my sphere. There you go. So that's the basics of setting up Maya projects. And if you just follow through this tutorial and you just do it over and over again, you should be set. You should be fine to be able to, no pun intended, you'll be set to do your project. Yes, and just go through it again, go through it a couple times, make a few projects and reset and change around. Just keep trying to do that and keep it clean and keep it organized. Like find wherever you put your files and just make sure you have very orderly and organized directory structures and know where your files are. Some students, especially when they first start, they'll get lost and they'll lose, they don't know where their data is. It's always important to know where your data is. And also too, it's going to be more and more important because a lot of these data are going to have dependencies now. Like when you start putting color on this thing, all of a sudden that's going to have a dependency to one of those other file directories. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson here. And then we'll go on to some other things coming up. Okay.